everybody, we are talking clarinet mouthpieces. Oh yes, the D'Addario Reserve range, how they're made, how they vary, how they play, and also why this one is my absolute favourite. Let's get into it. Hello everybody, welcome to this video of myself and Mr. Jason Alder, International Clarinet Supremo. Is that fair?
Sure. Yeah, sounds good.
And man of excellent hair and beard. Lovely man. Nice to see you here, Jason. You okay?
Yeah, good. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome. We're going to talk D'Addario mouthpieces, and indeed Jason plays one of these in all his concerts and recordings and everything all around the world. So it's going to be great to get your insight. We're also going to be joined by Tom Miller-Swain from D'Addario, who is their product expert, and he's going to tell us some interesting stuff about how these mouthpieces are actually made and how they differ. And we're also going to get Jason to give them a good play too. But before we do, we should say these are hard rubber ebonite mouthpieces. And often we talk about that as an upgrade, don't we, for students from a plastic one. So why would you do that? What is it that a hard rubber mouthpiece would give you?
I find the hard rubber, it vibrates in a different way than the plastic. It gives you more tonal depth. There's a bit more resistance in the way that it plays. You just get a nicer sound out of a good rubber mouthpiece.
Yeah, and that can obviously help musically as you progress with that projection and everything else that Jason's talked about. So, as I said, we're going to play them both. Well, Jason is, thankfully it's not me. We're going to play them both, the Reserve and the Reserve Evolution, and then we're going to break down and really get some of your thoughts about how they play. So, give us a little play first, Jason, on the standard Reserve.
If you're looking to upgrade your clarinet mouthpiece from the one that came with the clarinet, that's probably normally something like a plastic material, whereas these are all made from rod rubber, or ebonite, as it's often referred to. So we get the rod rubber and put that into the machine. Why do I want rod rubber? It gives you a better quality of sound. It gives you a bit more complexity, a little bit more of a tonal palette to play with. So we use the rod rubber and put it into the machine, and it's all CNC cuts. That's using computer technology. Why is that important? Because they are the same from mouthpiece to mouthpiece. So everything is within the tightest tolerances of the industry. So it's important if you want to try one, maybe your friend's got one, you try it and then you can come down to Dorks and buy one, have it on your Christmas list, someone can buy it for you. But you'll know that mouthpiece will play it the same as the one you've already tried. Also, if you lose it, break it, for example, you know you can get one without trying 15 different mouthpieces to find the one that's right for you. There are some great hand-finished mouthpieces on the market, but they have all got their own little quirks and their own qualities. So by having one of these, it means that they are consistent from piece to piece. So we've got the Reserve mouthpiece we're going to start off with. So this one is made from the rod rubber, and it gives you that vintage sound. So that vintage clarinet sound with a bit more modern playability. So we've got 6 different mouthpieces in this series. So we've got the X0, the X5 and the X10. And then we've got the X10E, the X15E and the X25E. Why are the different models? So it refers to the tip opening, so the more closed mouthpiece is the lower the number, but we've also got 2 different pitch systems. There's the European and the American. So the American, they play at 440 Hertz. So if you're tuning with an orchestra, for example, the oboe will play an 8 and that's at 440 pitch. So you might want to look at the X0, X5 and X10. And if you play more European music, you might want to look at the X15E, the X25E and the X10E. So those have got the E on to denote the European pitch. So that's at 442 Hertz. So orchestras, the more east you move in Europe, then that's more where they play at the 442 pitch. So it might also depend on your clarinet and the bowels and setup that you've got. So you might want to try out a few different ones to find the one that works for you. Then we've also got the Reserve Evolution mouthpiece. So this is a bit of a different mouthpiece. So there's a few things that have been changed on this. So in terms of the angle for comfort, that's changed. The window and the length has been changed. The internals have been changed. So what does that give you? It ultimately gives you a warmer, more projection and a little bit more depth to your sound. So there's that option, and you can also get those in both of the pitch systems. And then the pièce de la résistance, we've got the Reserve Evolution Marble. So this is a lovely mouthpiece. It's the same cut as this one, the Evolution, but it's a different material. So it gives a slightly different quality to the sound. Let's hear what Jason has to think about the differences between the two.
Thank you very much, Tom. Hopefully you guys found it interesting about the differences in how they are made. So we did mention, obviously, the second one is the Evolution, and that is available in the standard or the marble ebonite today. We've got them both, and actually we're going to play them both so you can hear maybe the difference, and then we'll get Jason's thoughts on the differences too. So I should say that Jason was playing X5 on the standard Reserve, and he's going to be playing an EV10 on the Evolution. So let's hear the standard hard rubber on this first. Thank you, Jason. I think it's really interesting if you guys noticed any difference in the sound. Same model, just on the marbled ebonite versus the normal one. Leave a note in the comments. Let us know if you can hear it. I know, Jason, you have feelings on this, and I have feelings on it too, but we're going to come to that bit in a second. Let's just talk actually on the difference between the two models of mouthpieces, though, so the Reserve and the Evolution. How do you feel they vary, and how can we kind of articulate that to the viewers?
I generally feel like the Evolution line blows a little more freely. I feel like it's a bit smoother to play, and I can get a little more air behind it, and how it plays. The standard Reserve also plays really well. I'm using the Evolution reed, 3.5 plus reed with it, with the X5. And yeah, I think it's got a good body of sound. I can get good projection on it, good clarity.
Yeah, but maybe with that Evolution reed and the Evolution mouthpiece, kind of there's a nice marriage there, isn't there, in terms of how they play? I mean, what I would say from a personal point of view, having been selling these for a while and in the store seeing players of all levels, there is quite a range in the standard Reserve, up from X0, X5, etc. And there's also the differences in pitch options, which Tom has mentioned in his little section there too. So I think it's important, if you've never played any of these before, you've never upgraded, to get some help from your teacher and or somewhere like Dorks, because we would be able to advise you based on what you've had before, the reeds you play, where you might want to sit. Because it could be a bit overwhelming to see sort of 6-10 things over the range. Can be, can't it? But we can help you narrow it down. And obviously with the Evolution, there's less choice there, but they do have quite that signature sort of rich sound, which I think is great. It sounds great from here, and I can tell when the players are generally happy, like you are. You feel comfortable, don't you? Musically, you feel comfortable as well. Yeah. So let's just get into a little bit of the feeling of the difference between the marbled ebonite and the standard ebonite. You can see that difference there. And yeah, it is an aesthetic thing to some degree. And D'Addario have been doing this a little while, and other manufacturers have done different things on saxophone, for example. I've played on marble versions of things. So what do you feel? Do you feel it makes any difference to the sound?
I do feel that they play slightly differently. I feel like the marbled version, again, has a little more clarity, and a little more oomph in it. But they're very similar. So I mean, it's a bit like the difference of, when you're just trying different mouthpieces. Sometimes you'll choose the same mouthpiece of the same model, but different ones may have slight variations. And I think it's a bit similar in that way with the evolutions in between the marble and the black. They're very similar, but I tend to have a little bit of an edge on the marbled version for myself. But
yeah, me too. I love the marbles. I think they're great. I think they look great, but I think they sound great as well. But try it. That's the thing. The final thing I would say on these, and I know Tom has touched on this too, just what's great from a retailer point of view and also from a teacher recommendation point of view is because of how these are actually made from a CNC machining point of view and the tolerances they use, what you can tell quite safely to people is that one X5, the next X5, they are going to be very, 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 very similar, aren't they? That's the thing. Whereas, as Jason's mentioned, sometimes on mouthpieces, other brands perhaps, where there's more hand finishing involved, you can get real variation even on the same model. So if you're a teacher out there and you like the X10 or X5, whatever it might be, if you're recommending that to students, that is going to be what you feel and what you expect to get, they're going to get as well, which is kind of a very nice thing. And from a retailer point of view, I know that we don't have to get 10 of these things just to get 2 or 3 that play really good, Any final thoughts before we wrap up, Jason, on these, or do you think we've kind of covered everything?
I think they're really strong mouthpieces, really good upgrade options for people looking to get into good professional level mouthpieces. The standard reserve line, it's great because there's all the different tip openings, from the X0 up to the X25E, so you can really dial into the sound, the response that you want. When you're trying mouthpieces, it's good to try different reeds with them as well, and ideally new reeds, even like to take reeds that you've been using on other mouthpieces. If you've been playing on them for a while, then they tend to kind of form to that mouthpiece, and so it may not be a true representation, even though you think, oh yeah, this is my good reed, so I'm going to try that one. It was your good reed on that mouthpiece, but it might not be the best reed on another mouthpiece. So, and try different strengths of reeds with them. Just get a bit of a range. You can really go down a big rabbit hole. But as you're choosing mouthpieces, important things to look for are the tuning. So always bring your tuner with you. Listen to the sound. Listen to the projection, the articulation. All these are important things to be paying attention to when you're choosing a mouthpiece.
Yeah, thank you. There's some really good points there, especially the new reed thing as well. We always recommend that in the shop because you've got to try it with a new reed. But yeah, I think, as we've said, there's a huge amount in the range, and if you need any help with it at all, let us know. The one other tiny thing I'm just going to point out for those who are still watching, I appreciate it, thank you. Even though we commonly get used to just thinking as the numbers go up, the tip gets more open. That may be true, but what's also changing is the facing length, and it's not going up in a linear fashion. So if you need some help understanding how facing lengths affect how mouthpieces sound and how reeds might play, then let us know on that as well. Because as we've talked about in other things, the reed on a long facing and the reed on a short facing mouthpiece, same reed, will feel completely different because of how much of it is vibrating. Anyway, we talked about rabbit holes. I was about to take us down one. I'm not going to. I'm just going to say thank you very much for watching, and do stay subscribed. Jason, would you be happy to play us out with a little something?
Sure.
Thank you.